Both athletes wrapped tightly with the black tape. Retherford with a gash above his eye. Lee with a gash in his forehead as they went head-to-head in our first bout. Retherford
was your winner, 2-1.
Won 2-1 in first round. We go to match number 2. Retherford, gold medal in the world. Nick Lee, your number 1 seed. Last year's world team member. And straight away, Zain Retherford with 2 and 2. A takedown, a leg lace, second leg lace. Now 6-0 for Retherford. Retherford just blasting through an attack and then a high gut twice. Now the blood starts flowing. Came out a 2-1. Gonna go down. We body lock. Number. Retherford. He said he was already in danger when he went for the first turn, so the action was the second 2-point exposure and not the first. So 4-0.
Red completes a takedown for 2 points. She completes a second turn for 2 points. Blue comes up to a sitting position and pulled back into danger. 2 more points. Challenge lost.
And back to action now with Retherford pulling on the head.
True second challenge tournament.
Big 65 kilogram Zain Retherford.
And in 4th place in those weight classes. So again, when we get to our 3rd place bounce in these brackets, we're wrestling for national team spots. Hence the importance of these consolation matches.
Beautiful attack by Retherford. Retherford respected the fact that Lee can chest wrap from that position. So instead of dropping down and driving for 2 takedown, he pulls back and just drives for the step out. So a 5-0 lead for Zain Retherford.
So again, in our weight classes that have yet to be qualified, the final all-world qualifier.
Nick Lee had to go through Andrew Alirez to get to the final, where Retherford had to go through Jesse Mendez with a 3-2 victory. Now Lee and Retherford looking to try to qualify for the ability to qualify for the Olympics.
And it's up for the individual nation to determine how those spots are decided. Hence, here in the United States, we have the U.S. Olympic team trials in wrestling to determine our Olympic nominee for those weight classes. Hence, the terminology.
26 seconds to go here in period 1.
With international sporting.
Lee slips out of the attack. Retherford up high. He's going to look to snap those arms down. Right hand collar tie. Chin grab by Retherford. Nice inside knee pick. And at the end of the period, no points, but a great attack by Nick Lee to finish out the period. Now up 5-0 is Zain Retherford. If you're watching on match 1, 3, or 4, all of these bouts and consolations are important because it can lead to a U.S. national team, which can get some funding for our athletes. Back to action. Period number 2, 5-0 for Zain Retherford. We're going with lots of action here as Lee put 2 or 3 attacks together. Now back on the tracks. I'd love to know what happens in the wrestling room here at Penn State between these two. How often do they compete? I'm sure since they knew they'd be competing at the same weight class in the trials, they probably haven't competed against each other and trained together as much as in past years. But when Retherford was at 70 and Lee was at 65, I'm sure they trained together often. Great friends. But the friendship goes out the door. You can still have the respect, but the friendship goes out the door when you're trying to qualify for the United States Olympic team.
Mat 4 by criteria from Tiger Style and Sunkiss Kids, Dom Bradley.
So 1 minute 45 seconds to go. Retherford not going to take a whole lot of risks right now as he holds center. It's at this point it's Lee's responsibility to make the attack. He hasn't gotten past the arms of the head of Retherford to make that attack.
Men's freestyle, 57 kilograms. Representing McCourt High School, Jax Ford.
Zain Retherford so technical with his hands. So difficult to pass.
And on mat 4, women's freestyle, 76 kilograms. In the red of Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, Diamond Guilford.
1 minute to go.
Her opponent in the blue, representing Iowa Women's Wrestling Club, Spartan Comment and Titan
Here in the bout,
Kylie Welker.
You look at 65 kilograms worldwide, and the wrestlers that haven't qualified weights for their nations yet, and that tournament in Turkey is going to be an absolute barn burner with world champions, world team members looking to qualify. Now, good thing is, if a nation has already qualified the weight, they can't go to last chance. So only athletes who are looking to qualify their country, and you're only allowed 1 person per country at the last chance. Each continental championships gets their allotment to the Olympics. Europe has several 65 kilos that haven't made it yet, but a big hug and a 5-0. 65 kilogram United States Olympic Team Trials champion. He's your winner from Nittany Lion Wrestling Club and Titan Mercury, Zain Retherford.
Champion at 65 kilos from the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club and Titan Mercury, Zain Retherford.